Hey everyone, this is Derrick Broze of the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we're going to continue our conversation about the whistleblower regarding the alleged gas attacks in Douma, Syria. The whistleblower from the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, which I have covered in recent videos, including this one right here, the OPCW whistleblower destroys Douma gas attack theory. I also want to remind you, before we get into that, to bookmark this website, theconsciousresistance.com, which is my website that I've ran since 2013. This is where you can find all of my videos, my documentaries, my interviews, my essays, download my books for free, and you can just get all kinds of information here. And you want to make sure to do this because social media is becoming increasingly unreliable, especially the mainstream networks. So please bookmark the website, follow us and join us on Minds, follow us on Steemit/DTube. Join our Discord channel to meet other like-minded people. If you want to get text updates right to your phone, which I highly recommend, join on Remind. And if you want to get videos outside of Facebook, follow on BitChute. We also post the videos on Minds and on Steemit. And if you want to support, do that via Patreon or Subscribestar. Finally, sign up for our email newsletter. So one thing I want to say, kind of related to the social media thing before I go further, is I noticed, at least on YouTube, my video, OPCW Whistleblower Destroys Douma Gas Attack Theory, it's struggled to get views, and I think this is probably due to the algorithm, because I know that there are many of you who know this is an important topic, but I do believe that this topic is one of the most censored topics at the moment. None of the mainstream media will even touch it or go anywhere near it, and as we're about to show you, the people who are trying to talk about it are being attacked and threatened. So we're gonna talk all about that. But if you haven't seen this first one, which explains the whole situation, I'm not going to rehash what I already said in this other video. I do recommend going back and watching that video, and you can check all the sources for everything that I cover in there. And even as far back as 2018, when I was first talking about this Douma attack, when I had done pretty good amount of work here, at least 3 or 4 articles, deep dives into this whole situation, showing how there was reasons not to trust what we were being told, which is what we were being told is that these little canisters right here were filled with chlorine gas, and they were dropped from the sky by the Syrian Air Force. And they were dropped in rebel-held areas, and it ended up killing these people. And within days, that resulted in the launching of 100 Tomahawk missiles by Donald Trump, and with the support of the Congress, bipartisan support, without any sort of vote or any sort of passing of congressional calling for war or anything, just immediately launching into war. And so it's immensely important for us to understand whether this is factual or not. But the people in the establishment, the people in power, they didn't wait for the facts to come in. They just rolled right along and started bombing people. And now, since then, we've had whistleblowers coming from the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, which is the international body that has been tasked with going into situations like this to study and to research and to see what exactly went on and who is to blame. So immediately, fingers are pointed at Syria, Russia, things like that. Bombs are dropped. Now it's been a year, and now we have whistleblowers coming out and saying that there was an effort to cover up some of the things that they found, inconsistencies that didn't line up with what the OPCW eventually officially said happened, which was that President Bashar al-Assad of Syria was responsible for the attacks. So again, whistleblowers saying that that's not true. And kind of in the back and forth since that video, Bellingcat, which is it's a mainstream organization. People try to pretend like there's some impartial group, but we'll get into them in just a moment. Bellingcat, though, they released emails and reading comprehension. The OPCW Douma coverage misses crucial facts. Basically, where they claim that although these alleged whistleblowers said that there were, changes made from the preliminary reports to the final reports, this guy says, well, yeah, the reason the changes were made is because their reports were not accurate, and in the end, we decided we had better, facts to use, basically is what he's trying to say. So he's saying, yeah, they had some objections or questions, but by the time it made to the final report, all was figured out and everything was good, nothing fishy to see here. And then we have this response. This is coming from Peter Hitchens' blog of the Daily Mail. He calls it Bellingcat or guard dog for the establishment. My response to the Bellingcat attempt to spin away the devastating implications of the OPCW Douma leak. I'll let you read this all on your own, but my point here is that he gets into some interesting information. The Bellingcat investigative team, which, if you don't know much about Bellingcat, they receive grants from the National Endowment for Democracy, which we know has been used by the CIA to funnel programs in other countries and in the U.S. and just to basically get their will done more covertly as opposed to it coming directly from the CIA. Open Society Foundations, we've heard that name before, Porticus, Ad Essiem, Pax for Peace, the Dutch Postcode Lottery. And he goes into each of these organizations and basically line by line just destroys what Bellingcat says and shows that Bellingcat is actually an establishment organization that is right now standing up for and defending the mainstream version of events of what took place in Syria, despite whistleblowers coming out and saying the opposite. So this is all pretty big. Like we said, we have whistleblowers coming out, at least 2 different examples of whistleblowers speaking up, apparently more information coming out, the establishment via Bellingcat defending it, other than that, the mainstream ignoring it, and now Peter Hitchens of the Daily Mail responding and saying why this is not accurate. Then, in just a huge piece of information, as Caitlin Johnstone notes here, journalists from Newsweek says that Newsweek suppressed the OPCW scandal and threatened him with legal action. This just happened in the last couple days. Newsweek journalist has resigned after the publication reportedly suppressed his story about the ever-growing OPCW scandal, the revelation of immensely significant plot holes in the establishment Syria narrative. And he tweeted out, journalist Tariq Haddad said, "Yesterday I resigned from Newsweek after my attempts to publish newsworthy revelations about the leaked OPCW letter were refused for no valid reasons. I have collected evidence of how they suppressed the story, in addition to evidence from another case where info convenient to U.S. government was removed, though it was factually correct. I plan on publishing these details in full shortly. However, after asking my editors for comment, as is journalistic practice, I received an email reminding me of confidentiality clauses in my contract, i.e., I was threatened with legal action." He added that he is now seeking legal advice and looking into the possibility of whistleblower protections for himself. And he said at the very least he will publish the information he has while omitting anything that could subject him to legal retaliation. He ended with, "I could have kept silent and kept my job, but I would not have been able to continue with a clean conscience. I will have some instability now, but the truth is more important." So, I mean, this is pretty epic. And as Caitlin Johnstone says, this is the first direct insider report that we're getting on the mass media's conspiracy of silence on the OPCW scandal. And in how many other newsrooms is this exact same sort of suppression happening, including threats of legal action to journalists who don't have the courage or the ability to leave and speak out? There's no logical reason to assume that Haddad is the only one encountering such roadblocks from mass media editors. So, I mean, she's saying here, and I think this is reasonable to suspect, that there are probably other journalists out there trying to speak up about this and maybe willing to write about it or submitting a story about it and then being threatened or the story just being turned away. And those journalists, if they are journalists, they need to speak up publicly like Tarek did here. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize. But you can go here and see he's been with Newsweek for a long time. Newsweek, of course, sometimes they put out all right things, but mostly they're establishment mainstream media. And here you can see on his own Twitter feed, he penned this tweet: "I resigned from Newsweek after my attempts to publish newsworthy revelations about the leaked OPCW letter were refused for no valid reason." And then I'll show you down here, he also retweeted this. Someone's response says, "What the heck, Newsweek? Protect your journalists. Don't force them to resign in order to practice journalism, wishing you support and hope that truth is given voice." And then right here he updated. He said, "I'm sure the character attacks will follow soon, but thank you to everyone for the outpouring of support so far. I'm currently working on the piece and hope to have it ready in the next few days. Stay tuned." So he's working hard right now on this, and I'm excited to see what happens. And then Peter Hitchens, again, Peter Hitchens from the Daily Mail right here, Peter Hitchens' blog, who wrote this response to Bellingcat regarding the leaks. He actually said, he tweeted at Newsweek and Newsweek UK, "Do you have any comment on this tweet from your former reporter? Mr. Haddad, please contact me at the Mail on Sunday in London." So he's trying to get connected with him. So hopefully we have some more information coming. I look forward to seeing this article and for him exposing what exactly happened. And thankfully people like him are out there. I don't know much about this guy's history. Somebody might want to look into him and maybe he's got some other shady connections. This whole thing's a psyop. But I don't think so, guys. I think that what we're seeing is what's happening. This story has been suppressed. People were lied to. It was a false flag, and Donald Trump bombed people based on a false flag. He rushed into it. Now the media cheered him on, and now that a whistleblower and journalists are coming out about it, it's getting harder for them to cover it up, but they're threatening people with legal action. They're coming out and trying to spin the story and act like we don't understand what the report says. And it's becoming more and more obvious that this is another one of the huge stories of 2019. I'm going to be working on another video about top 5 or so stories that have nothing to do with impeachment that are huge related to and that came out in 2019. And this whistleblower story related to Syria is one of them. I mean, the war is something that they want to continue no matter what happens. I mean, we have to find a way to stop war. We just found out yesterday, the Afghan papers leaked by the Washington Post say that many generals under Bush, Obama, and Trump have known that the Afghanistan war is a lie and that it's just dragging on and they have no idea what the hell they're doing, but it continues on. Because war is a racket, like Smedley Butler told us so many decades ago. My point is, there's so much to lose and so much to gain in this battle. People want to gain resources and control with war. We want to gain freedom and ending failed wars and stop killing of innocent people, both Americans and people all around the world. So we have to expose war at every opportunity we have. And this presents a great case, guys, but I guarantee you your friends haven't heard about this. Please share this video on any other platform you're on, whether you're on Facebook, Minds, Steemit, YouTube, whatever, Float, you know all the different ones. Put it out there. Download it, re-upload it, rip it, whatever you want to do. Share this information, guys. This is hugely important. People need to know that journalists are being threatened for trying to report on actual news. This is what America in 2019 looks like, and 2020 is not looking much better. The decades of 2020s and beyond up to 2030, I'm not very excited about that, guys, but we'll talk about that later. For now, this is Derrick Broze of the Conscious Resistance Network. I want to remind you guys to bookmark our website, support us however you can, share this content out, and remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.